As I mentioned, we have Jeff Parker here, and he's going to go through some numbers, and he's kind of dived in a little bit deeper on some of these numbers so we can talk a little bit more specifics. So thank you for joining us today.
Good morning to you, and I appreciate being here. Yes, I wanted to go through some of the stats that we generally talk about, but maybe in more specific, get into what that means with regards to the percentages that the county's seeing. So we wanted to inform the residents as much as possible.
Okay.
But I did want to start off by saying, again, I want to thank all the residents of Laguna Village, the Mutuals United, Third, Mutual 50. They're doing a great job over there. And they're doing a lot of what we're implementing too with regards to taking people's temperatures when they go into Mutual 50. So they have a lot of safeguards that they've put in place a long time ago when this whole thing started. So kudos to everybody in the village and to Mutual 50. So I wanted to thank everybody again. Wearing your mask, social distancing keeps us a safer place.
Exactly.
So numbers-wise, we unfortunately had positive cases of 873 as of yesterday. It's reporting numbers. The cumulative deaths in the county had gone up on another 11 deaths, unfortunately, which brings us to 466. The reason I want to bring that up is I don't want to emphasize that and make people too aware, but I went back and looked at stats a month ago that we were at basically 266. So 200 additional deaths in just the last month. So
yeah.
we definitely have seen that kind of spike. And that relates to, again, the hospitalization rates being as high as they are. We're at 711 people in the hospital and 245, which is kind of another bump up with regards to people in ICU.
Right.
So that means that this last kind of bump up that we've seen with regards to people getting COVID-19 seems to be more having a serious effect, which I don't know if that is correlated to who is getting it, in the sense that the stats still show that people that are getting it and unfortunately passing away, still a very high percentage in anybody 55 and over. 87% of the fatalities are for 55 and over, which our community is.
Right.
So again, trying to be cautious with regards to that. The other piece of information I wanted to provide was that we were at a positive rate of 14%. So that's when you take your testing numbers, and they know that they're doing more testing, which is good. But if our positive rate out of the testing keep being in the teens, then that's a concern that we're seeing an increase in the COVID-19 throughout our community. Coming into work this morning, I was hearing a report about that they're seeing more cases with children now. And that, again, is related to they're doing more testing.
Right.
But Orange County has about a 5.5% case rate of under 18 showing up, which is lower than all our surrounding counties. Interesting. Riverside and LA County are both in the 8 and 10% range, where we're at the 5.5. So that's good news.
Right.
But it is showing how these stats can get swayed by the fact that, okay, if more and more youth are getting it, how is that being spread? Those are the things. And for our community, one of the things that I want to make sure everybody understands is that a lot of people can get this. Obviously, kids under 18 can get this, kids that are in the younger age, and people that are 18 to 35. And if they're coming here to visit grandparents,
Right.
In those situations, or parents, even if they're in their mid-range of age, just be careful wearing that mask. And that's why we're making the guidelines at requiring people to show that they have masks before they come into the village. Doing that with regards to our contractors, making sure that all our contractors have masks, that they're wearing it when they're out in the village, and our employees are making it. So if somebody sees an employee and they don't think they're wearing masks in the appropriate place, they'll say they're out actually working as opposed to taking their lunch break, please call us and give us that information, because that's not what our guidelines have for our employees, and we want to make sure that they're doing that and following the rules, just like we're asking everybody else to follow the rules.
Exactly, exactly. And on those numbers, the other day I was interviewing a couple of doctors from Memorial Care, Saddleback Medical Center, and they said that the opportunity to help someone with COVID-19 is greater today than it was at the very beginning, meaning they know so much more about what the disease is doing to people, so they can treat it differently than they did before. They said they aren't having as many intubations,
right,
which is great news, because if they can get people off those and just treat them otherwise, they have a much better chance, from what I understand, to survive.
Yeah, and I think that's really a key. The better the medical profession knows how to treat people,
Right.
they also, that triage effect, when they come into the hospital, they can get them straight into the treatment that they need.
Exactly.
And that's going to help clearly in the survival rate, which
Right.
is so important.
Right, and it is high. I mean, the survival rate is high, but again, you have to take a look at the numbers you're sharing of 55 and over, and that's kind of a targeted age group.
Clearly the at-risk group still, and when it comes to serious illnesses. And we just want everybody in the village to be very, very diligent and careful out there, and they're doing that. Again, I want to go back. We're at 33 cases. We went up one from the other day when we talked about 32. But in relative terms for the county, we are very, very low in our numbers. And again, kudos to everybody in the village for being diligent about that.
They have been great, and I know one thing that is a little concerning is, excuse me, many of our residents are isolated, therefore they have depression and very unhappy about what's happening, and they can't visit with people. But social services has fantastic opportunities. We just talked to them about their buddy program, a phone buddy program, and many of the clubs today are doing similar things. So there's always somebody that you can reach out to, but if you know of someone who's home alone, I mean, that's really, I think, the outcome of a lot of this is going to be depression and isolation, which is really unfortunate.
And that's where we do want people to reach out to us with our social service. As you said, they're doing a great job in communicating with people. You know, first it was getting masks out to people, getting
Right.
food out to people. So they did a great job there. Now it's more into the mental health side. How can
Right.
we help them? How can we direct them to information we put in? I think it's going to be in the breeze, but we are also putting out some information that we received from the county on all the different mental health programs that they have out there.
Right.
Because we just want that information out there so people can avail themselves if needed.
Exactly, and over the coming weeks, we're going to have some more Zoom interviews with various people that are going to touch a lot about that particular subject matter of mental health and what you do in this situation, because it's obviously different. So, well, good. Well, what else? Anything else exciting?
Well, we mentioned that the change of hours for pickleball and paddle tennis, so that they're going to be playing in the evenings this week. So that's a big step forward. We're going to be evaluating next week. We're in communication with other cities about and the association with regards to, is there going to be a movement moving towards doubles under programs that are managed by cities and associations and then state guidelines. So we're kind of looking for some more guidance from the state next week.
All right.
But I would hope that maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll have some new information with regards to doubles at those facilities. We're also looking at some evening hours for lawn bowling on a couple of nights, on Monday and Wednesday night. And so we're putting the protocol together for that. Again, a cooler time period, allowing people to get out and enjoy the outdoors where they can.
Perfect. All right, good. Well, thank you, and have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right. And remember, if you are struggling with any types of depression or isolation feelings, give the social services a call, because they really do a wonderful job. We'll be right back.